it go, at least at this point. Vandana Hari, founder and CEO at Vandana Insights, joining us this morning. Vandana, very good morning. Give us a sense as to how prolonged do you expect this war to be? Hi, by the way, this is Harsh here. How prolonged do you expect this war to be?
Good morning, Harsh. So that is the billion-dollar question in the markets right now, and nobody seems to have a clear answer. We have entered a war of attrition phase. We do know, while there seem to be every now and then some references to negotiating, ceasefire, etc., we know that from everything on the ground and from all the rhetoric coming out of Tehran, that door seems to be firmly shut. So as of now, the oil markets are preparing for uncertainty over the length of this war and a potential prolonged shutdown of the Strait of Hormuz, at least for the next few weeks.
Hi, Vandana. Sajid here. Do you think even if Iran allows non-NATO countries to take crude from Strait of Hormuz, the prices are going to come back to normal?
Great question. So again, we have also seen reports over the past few days about Iran potentially allowing China, India, and being in some talks, or rather some European countries saying they have been in talks with Tehran to allow their vessels to pass through. I am very, very skeptical that such an arrangement could be made in such a way that irreliably, that indeed we see selective passage of ships belonging to these countries or carrying goods and oil for these countries. I don't expect Iran has that level of sophistication to ensure that these ships are not struck and only all the other ships that try to go through the Hormuz are struck or hit. Also, I would expect the insurance companies, the ship owners and charterers, even from countries that appear to have been given an exemption by Tehran, to be extremely reluctant and risk-averse to actually go into that area.
And Vandana, give us your view with regard to, therefore, how global markets are reacting. I mean, if this war were to continue for a prolonged period of time, one could adopt a view that markets have been extremely mature. So are we penciling in that? Are we penciling in a very, very early close to the war? Is that what you believe markets seem to be penciling in at this point?
So a couple of important points you've made. One is the resilience of the market, which has been tested, especially over the past 5 or 6 years, right? So with the COVID and the unprecedented crash in demand, then we had the Russia sanctions following the Ukraine. And in all of those cases, we have seen oil continue to flow. Russian barrels were more or less smoothly rerouted and so on. But I would say that the current situation is an exception. It is testing the resilience of the market. So far, I think it's still early days to say that the market has remained resilient and the market has adapted, because we see countries, especially in Asia, which is obviously the most exposed to the closure of the strait, have already put in place a lot of emergency measures. A lot of these measures, to my mind, may tide the countries through over perhaps the next few days, up to a week. But I have to say that, beyond that, several more weeks of closure of the Strait of Hormuz is absolutely catastrophic. Even the closure that has happened so far is already having a ripple effect, percolating all the way down into the economy, which I think is a debilitating effect we're going to see for months to come. So I wouldn't really depend on the market's resilience, even though we thought over the past 5 or 6 years that it had been proven to be quite good.
Okay, Vandana, thank you so much for coming in and speaking with us this morning, giving us that perspective. Let's